Good afternoon, I'm Tiro, and this is a tutorial for the Save Nintendo Wi-Fi project. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to take this, which is a third-party USB Wi-Fi adapter, and we're going to use this to connect our DS and Wii to the internet, and then we're going to sniff out the packets when it has an internet connection. Alright, so let's get to the computer. Alright, so first step is we install the drivers to the device, which you already have, and now we insert it thusly. And because of the one I'm using, an Edimax, it's a little persnickety, so I shall start the configuration program that should come with your USB device. Okay. Now, I rattle off the fancy term third-party Wi-Fi USB adapter. Basically, this is just a Wi-Fi adapter, just something you can hook, you plug into your computer so that it can hook up to Wi-Fi. However, you need a special quality. The adapter needs to be able to do access point mode. Sometimes it's called software access point mode, and it can be shortened in various ways such as SoftAP mode. So when you load up your configuration program, you have to look around somewhere, like in buttons or in the menus on how to set it into access point mode. So for mine, it goes right here, access point. So now it's going to switch over to the access point mode. And this means that now this little adapter is going to act as a router. Now, that doesn't mean it's ad hoc. Ad hoc is very more common, and basically it's kind of like echoes the signals that it gets. This is basically access point mode. It's going to suck up the internet connection from my computer and broadcast it. Okay, so here we are in access point mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to configure it. So, alright, so we're going to give it an SSID, the network name, and we'll just call it Save Nintendo Wi-Fi Channel. Okie dokie. And here's other settings for channels you've probably seen with adapters or whatever. And here we have the encryption. DS games, for the DS Fat and the DS Lite, they need 0 encryption, or what they call is WPE. Now, the short-term way is just have no encryption, but if you want a little protection or whatever, you put in WEP. So, and like I said, different devices will do it differently. I know for like this program, the Edimax, it has to be ASCII. So I'm going to give it a password, open, and 123. Okay, something simple. It needs to be blah 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 13 4 bits. Okay. Okay, let's do my other one. Was it Jigglypuff 314? Is that long enough? Yep. Alrighty. Okay, so right now it's blasting its signal. But before we go, we're going to check up the IP. So what we do in Windows is we go to our command prompt. So in Vista, Windows 7, or Windows 8, you just hit the Windows key and you have the little, you should have a little bar of some sort, and so you do CMD and hit enter command. If you have something older like Windows XP, you do the Windows key and run the R button for the run command, and then you can do CMD as well, and it brings up, the black screen of death and doom. And what we need to do is find the IP number. So we type in ipconfig, and then that displays all the stuff for our computer system. You have to scroll up. So if we read up here, it says like wireless LAN adapter. So that's the Edimax doing its thing. So we want to write these numbers down here. So the IP address is blah 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 blah, mask is blah blah blah, and the gateway is nothing. That'll make more sense later on. So write those numbers down, scratchy scratchy scratchy, and now we're going to head on back to the DS. Alrighty, we're on the DS. So I have on focus here the lower screen of the DS Lite. DS XL. Oh wait, let's see. Okay, let's load. And we're here. Right now I have focus is on the lower screen of a DSi XL. Now when you're going to do capturing for the DS, this is probably the safest way for you to set up the internet. This will work for the DS Fat, the DS Lite, the XL, the DSi, and the 3DS. Because even though they're in these systems, you can go into the system settings here and set up the internet. It won't register for older games, but here's the surefire way. What you do is you just load up a very old DS game. You can tell the older ones because they have a gray cartridge. So I know this is bad for color. So here's Final Fantasy Echoes of Time. It's gray, as opposed to here's a new one with the DSi Pokemon Black, and the cartridge is actually gray in color. So, but anyways, get an older game and load it up. Okay, so tappy 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 to speed this up. Okay, older games which have internet access will have usually a menu for the Wi-Fi settings right at the beginning at the title screen. Sometimes they may be hidden under the options, but right there in every game, because Wi-Fi was still new, you can do it straight from the beginning. So we'll do that there, and that'll bring you to this type of menu. This is the original DS Fat Wi-Fi internet setup. This menu will show up even on a 3DS. So this is the surefire way to make sure you're going to connect to old DS games with whatever handheld you have. So we're going to do set up a system, and we'll just start setting up with a new one, and we're going to search for an access point. So this is basic stuff. You've probably done it already or several times before. And hey, what do you know? It's our saved Nintendo Wi-Fi a signal right there. I know it's probably not clear because I'm not good with camera work, so I'm going to do it, and we need to enter our WEP key. So what was it? Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff 314. Alright, do you want to save the settings? Okay. And we're going to do connection test. Also, if you notice a while back, there were no other signals, and boom, look at that. We have successful connectivity. Okay. Now, right there, we're connected the DS to the adapter, and we get the internet from the computer that the adapter's on. But we have to do a couple more steps in order to make capturing the packets easier. By default, the internet connections have obtained an IP address automatically. This makes it trickier to filter out information. So we're going to give it a specific one, which is why we wrote those numbers down. So do we want to obtain an IP address automatically? No. Okay, so now we have to enter it. Okay. The gateway is the first number we wrote down, or the top, so the IP address. That is basically going to be, let's see, I wrote this down, what we saw on the first number on the thing. So it's 192.168.100 and 1. If you are forced to put in 3 numbers, even though it's a small number, you just pad it with 0. So 001. Okay. Are these settings okay? Yes. Then we do the mask. Mask is really easy. It's 255.255.255. and 0000. So I guess that padded in. Yes. Now for the IP address. What we do is we copy the first parts perfectly. So 192.168.100. And now for the last three numbers, we give it something specific, something that we're going to use to trace it out. So I believe on my system, I have it set up is for 53. 53 is a prime number, so it's very easy to kind of like see it automatically amongst a whole jumble of stuff. Alright, so these are correct? Yes. But now we also have to set up our DNS. This is automatic. And basically we just set it to the same gateway number, so this is, it's the same number but now with 1. So 192.168.101. And we set it the same one for we can use duplicates. So 192.168.101. 192.1.2. Save the settings. And we're just going to test it just to make sure it's all hunky-dory. Success. Alrighty. Now, we're going to go back out into our game and we're going to do a little split screen action here. So, alright. Let's load the game. And here's my save file. Yes, I want it. Yeah, these touch controls. Okay. So we're going to actually do the Wi-Fi part of the game, which in Final Fantasy III is very simple. It's just basically a letter exchange. Okay, so we're all ready to. What we do is go to the so whatever game you're going to record, you go to the Wi-Fi thing, and then we load up Wireshark. Wireshark is a program to do the sniffing, and right here in the corner you see all the internet connections of your computer. And right over here, Wireless Network 5, that's our Edimax. It may be something different on your computer or whatever. So we click that and we hit start. And now, as it's going, it's now sniffing things. And has, but it's sniffing everything on your internet right now. So what we have here as a filter is we put down the following command, which I actually have it saved over here, DS filter. So the command is ip.addr equals, and then the actual IP address that we have our DS, and so that's why we choose the number 53. Now, see, look, nothing's going on because there is no traffic with that stuff, But if we look at the whole thing, lots of stuff. So, anyways, all right. Now, let's draw attention back to the DS. Now, we're going to connect to the Mog House, and we're going to go and do the Nintendo online stuff. See if we got any letters from friends. And do we want to connect? Yes. And now we're connecting, and watch the magic. Boom, look at all of that. So now we're actually sniffing out stuff to and from our DS. No mail. Oh, what a shame. Okay, that's disconnecting. Alright, now, when you are done sniffing out, right over here there's a stop button, and we just hit stop. And there we go. Now, Wireshark has recorded all the information, so it includes every all this all the computer information and such. So what we need to do is here's a tidbit to show that we're like actually getting stuff. So like Nintendo WiFi.net connection test, blah blah blah. But anyways, so we have our filter on. I'm going to go to File, And then we export specified packets. This means we're only going to export or save the stuff we are seeing here, the stuff we filtered out, because that's what we want. And so then we just give it a name. So I'm going to call it Final Fantasy 3 tutorial demo, and we're going to save. And voila! And there you have it. So, little tricky, but this is another way you can sniff out packets. This will also work with the Nintendo Wii. And it's the exact same thing. You just set up the Wi-Fi adapter. You give the Nintendo Wii connect it to the adapter and give it a specific IP address, and you just record and filter. Now, I know this is all a lot. Let's bring up the project up. The point of what this is doing for saving Nintendo Wi-Fi is that when the servers close, we can no longer do this. So the most important thing right now is to record the packets. Now, as you watch this video, this may still be too much for you, okay? But you can still help out in very simple ways. One, just tell other people about it. Tell your friends, tell any internet communities you know of, like with computers or maybe just video games, because you never know who knows what. Two, actually play these games that are going to close. Because it's kind of tricky. Like everybody's still playing Smash Brothers, everyone's still playing Mario Kart, but let's say like Excitebots. Not everybody's on that, or Phantasy Star Zero, or let's see, Final Fantasy Echoes of Time. Play these games. And if you want to go a little bit further, if you actually know someone who can do these capturing these packets or whatnot, it's like call them and say, I have these games, I can play them at this time. Do you want to chat over the internet, and so I can give you, I can do recording sessions with you. That'll be really great. But anyways, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. So until next time, I'm Tiro, and have fun gaming. See ya!